Click the first link in the description for the best Askreddit content. Today I fucked up by mistaking my AirPod for a cashew nut and having a bite while asleep. This happened this morning and I still have a weird feeling in my mouth. I was sleeping with one of my AirPods in my ear. It fell out of my ear and ended up under my body, which wasn't comfortable, so I picked it up in my sleep. I remember dreaming about a cashew nut and popping it in my mouth, even giving it a good bite. Have been eating a lot of cashews lately as well, so felt like a good little snack. Later, no idea how much, was asleep. I woke up feeling something in my mouth. Took it out of my mouth and have never been this confused. AirPod is now chilling in rice, covered in bite marks. I have absolutely no idea how long I kept it in my mouth for or how wet it got in the whole process. Just hope it didn't cause an electrical problem. They were still connected when I woke up, so at least my mouth had a private concert for a while. Too long didn't read, dreamt about cashew nuts, ate my AirPod in my sleep. Sorry to laugh, but this is so fucking funny to me. Hope your AirPod is okay though. Gotta say, you certainly have expensive taste in snacks. Haha, glad you had a good laugh. Gonna hide my expensive stuff tonight in case I get hungry. Please tell me you're not the guy who ate too many cashews and ended up with anal periods. Normally posts on here don't make me laugh, but something about this today I fucked up just gave me a good chuckle. Thanks op. I ate one of my earplugs the same way, only in my dream they were jelly beans. I swallowed it, might have passed it, might still be in my insides. Lol. Ow, didn't you find it back? Might still have some banging tunes in your stomach. Excuse me, what the fuck? Today I fucked up by looking through my deceased grandfather's floppy disk drive. To start, my grandparents weren't rich in money. They were rich with love and experiences, especially going to Spain for their holiday, which was their favorite place in the world. My grandfather was such a lovely man who had a privileged life traveling around the world with the RAF, mainly in India and the UK. His wife, who traveled beside him, I shall call her Betty, who sadly passed at age 87, 3 years ago, and himself, who passed at 94 around a year after, both peacefully but due to old age medical implications. After they had passed, we had to go through and sort out their home and their belongings, which, as you can imagine, is a soul-destroying but weirdly interesting and happy process, seeing their photos, memories and items from their lives. Upon many of his belongings he had a computer, and being the age he was, it ran Windows XP, and he still used CDs and floppy disks to gather images and information. After clearing out their house, these floppy disks and CDs were placed in storage in the attic round my house. A few days ago we decided to fully board the attic out, which meant stored items had to ideally be sorted, moved or thrown out. We sorted through boxes and items until we eventually stumbled across the box with Derek's CDs and floppy disks scribbled on it. Of course we figured it would be best to see what was on them and sort through them, as there could be some interesting content. So me and my brother sat down, went through the floppy disks and CD on his PC for a few hours. All interesting information, data he had collected, memories from our childhoods and images from his passion for photography, until we got to a floppy disk with a file named Threesome in Spain. Of course we let our curiosity get the better of us. We opened the file to the horror which awaited us. As said before, I'm calling my Gran Betty. Well, Betty had her best friend, which we'll call Barbara. The document said as follows: Threesome in Spain. Betty was in the next room to Barbara in the hotel in Spain, so it was quite easy to meet her. She was alone and she seemed very pleased to join us for our meals and evenings out, and she always greeted us with a kiss. She was about the same age as Betty, with a little more flesh on her than Betty, who I kept her figure in trim for photographic work. I noticed from the start that when Barbara kissed Betty, the kisses lingered a bit, and as Barbara was widowed I began to wonder about lesbianism. I needn't have worried, because when she kissed me she held nothing back. Her luscious lips clung to mine, and her soft body pressed against mine. Of course, when we had read it, myself and my brother just looked in shock at one another, then cringed. What makes it worse is we know that Barbara is in a care home with dementia. It's certainly something which will stay with us and not be mentioned to our mum. Fuck no. After all, he's human and everyone has their desires and fantasies. We just can't believe what we read with our own eyes. It'll haunt us forever. Too long didn't read. Myself and my brother looked through our dead granddad's files and found his threesome lesbian fetish fiction about our gran, her best friend and him having a threesome. Maybe it wasn't fiction. Well, it sounds like the drive was the only thing of his that was permanently floppy. When Viagra hit, the incidence of STDs in the elderly went through the roof. Your grandpa was presumably with your grandma for a long time. People's eyes wander. If all he did was engage in a little private fan fiction, he's doing better than many. And hell, if his account was real and your grandma was a consenting adult, more fucking power to the old bastard. And her, and Barbara, and me. I filmed the whole thing. I hate to break it to you, but there is a pretty high chance your grandparents even had, dare I say it, sex. You know. People have lives, even your relatives. Today I fucked up by not eating condoms, despite how it may have appeared. This happened an hour ago. I'll try to make it as interesting as my roommate found it to be. I'm a college freshman and I just got into a new class. New professor, new course material, and I'm already 2 weeks behind everyone because I joined in 2 weeks after the first class already happened. I need to get on his good side, because the one thing keeping me from being forever behind as a result of my late arrival is the professor's mercy. I managed to arrange a Zoom meeting with him to discuss how I can get caught up to speed. He sent me a link and I kept it bookmarked until it was time. 10 minutes before the meeting was scheduled to begin, I took out my phone to ensure my hair looked tame, and set up my chair so I could sit up and look professional. Clicked the link 5 minutes early, to demonstrate that I was really eager to discuss this class with my new professor. 1 minute before the exact time, the professor opened the Zoom call. I tensed but tried my best to relax. I needed to make a good first impression on my professor if I wanted any chance at succeeding at that class. The professor had a neutral expression and looked closely at the screen. He squinted slightly and quietly read, despite how it may appear. My heart dropped. I saw myself from above as I froze in time while everything else around me became a timeless blur. At this instant, my soul imploded in on itself into a black hole, consuming all of my thoughts and all of my feelings. 1 month ago, I got my wisdom teeth removed. Upon that same day, I had an informal Zoom meeting with my friends at my old high school club. I warned everyone that my mouth would be full of gauze pads, rendering me unable to intelligibly speak. When I joined, someone jokingly said they had mistaken my gauze pads upon first glance for a wad of condoms in my mouth. I laughed, and decided to further the joke by changing my in-meeting Zoom name in response. I hope I remember to change this back before anything important, I jokingly typed into the Zoom chat. But after that day, after that week, I had managed to join other Zoom calls, my call name defaulted to my true name, and everything went on without any problems. I attended many classes over Zoom, and got very comfortable with the fact that Zoom just works. But today, on a day that was of utmost importance, I had a Zoom call that would determine my fate. This call was the Chief Justice who would decide my sentence, whether good or bad, and I could not afford to make mistakes. Yet, despite my preparation, despite all of the precautions I thought I had took, today, my professor reluctantly greeted me by that which was assigned to my name. Despite how it may appear, I am not eating a condom. Every lobe of skin on my body exploded as I burst into flames of pure adrenaline. The magnitude of my voice tripled as I emptied my lungs of all the air I had in order to apologize as profusely as I did. I scrambled to change the name as quickly, but the damage was already done. When I returned to the call after an eternal 4 minutes of scrambling, he stabbed me with the remark, "I hope that's some sort of joke between you and your friends, and not some sort of bad dieting habit you have." In my relief, he was minimally affected by my mistake. However, he did say, "I will not forget this." Too long didn't read, Forgot to change my Zoom name before an important meeting. I always chewed on condoms during class, especially during stressful exams. So I don't find this weird. This was well worth the read. If he's been a professor for a while, I guarantee he's seen much worse. Still, thanks for the laugh. Glad he deadpanned and moved on. Thank God he had a sense of humor. That was a funny read. You could have probably explained and made him laugh even. He made a little joke about dietary habits, so there was some wiggle room. Good luck in your class though.